What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Movement Mindset powered by Station Athletics. I'm Chris Hardenberg here with Joe Pasalacqua, episode number 18. And today we are going to be talking about our core values. What are we about as a business? What are we about here at Station Athletics?
So when we opened up our third location,
Yes,
right? We opened up the women's gym. We had our Verona partnership, and we were in the middle of 2 expansions.
Yeah.
And then we were in the middle of getting Madison open.
Yeah.
And we sat in a room and we're like, hey, how do we create some sort of corporate structure?
Yeah.
So my mindset was, okay, we're going to move away from, okay, I'm going to open a gym and do this. It's like, how do we keep growing? And you look at every big business and they have corporate structure.
Yeah.
So then it was a resource change of, okay, we need to figure out what direction we're going to move into, how we're going to do it. And Rachel, who worked for us at the time, she came from big business, and she basically helped us break down the components of core values, mainstreaming things, automating things, making a corporate presence where it just didn't end with the GM and then me.
Yeah. And I just remember me, you, and John and Rachel sitting in a room, and she's at the board. All right, what are we about? Let's start. And we're just like,
do you remember the first thing we did was moving who was doing what?
Yes.
Away? And then there was Joe with everything.
Yeah.
Like, no, I need to keep doing those things. And when I was done, I'm like, well, and I remember sitting there. This is so sidetracked.
Yeah.
I remember sitting there and I'm like, well, what the fuck am I going to do now? I go, you took all my responsibilities away. I was like, I remember going to the gym and just being like, stacking paperwork and be like, yeah, I'm doing stuff.
But we finally came up with what our core values are. And they are accountability, play, compete, versatile, relentless, and get shit done. All right, so those are our 6 core values. So, Joe, why don't you touch on some of these and what they mean?
The presence of why I left corporate was I didn't want to deal with all that bullshit that comes with it, okay? And if you're in corporate, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I don't need to explain what it is, and you probably hate it. Brandon smiled at me.
Well, he smiled at me because of what I did, because I'm agreeing with I'm working on it, guys, all right?
So the idea was, okay, these are all the things that I don't want my business and my company to do, okay? But you realize that some of those things have to carry over, but you can carry those things over in a scenario that is acceptable on both sides.
Right.
Okay? Like a great example is we allow our staff members to be not necessarily visually professional, as in you're not wearing suits and et cetera, right? Like we did the whole collared shirt thing. Chris hated it. He threw it in the trash right in front of me. But the idea is it was a branding thing. So, we went from testing that out to being like, okay, let's offer some sort of professionalism. But then it was, okay, you know what? We can still be professional, but let's just make the brand the profession piece of this. Okay, so for instance, staff members have to coach in a Station Athletics coach shirt.
Right.
So as we kind of go through this, it's like accountability was one of the biggest things because we built the whole program around accountability. So if you're a member in one of our locations, the accountability is a huge aspect of what the staff responsibility is, and it's probably the biggest thing that we push with them is accountability being so important. Okay, so holding the members accountable, but we're also holding the staff members accountable. I hold you accountable, just like Chris holds me accountable for what I'm supposed to do, John, et cetera. The list goes on and on. So the accountability of being able to say, hey, you're responsible for this. Why isn't it not done?
Yeah.
Or you didn't do it properly.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the corporate piece of it, is being able to pinpoint a problem and hold someone accountable. But it goes all the way down from the coaches down to the members receiving the accountability on, they do a weigh-in and it's not good, you hold them accountable.
Yeah, and I think and it goes both ways, right? So when someone does something really well, great example is we just had our mid-year meeting, and I'll just use 2 people as examples. You have Shannon, who has maintained her gym and is crushing it. The members love it there. She can't keep people from coming to the gym. We haven't run an ounce of advertising there because of how well of a program she's run. And then at Station Road, you have Courtney, who has beefed up her service offering to our members by adding PT and has really been able to help them get tier apparel in their hands and stuff like that. They should take accountability for all those positive things. And then vice versa, when you do something and it doesn't go well, I'm the first person to be like, hey, we did this, it didn't work, that's on me. And when you're able to do that, as a manager, you're then able to be like, okay, that's fine, let's come up with a solution. Versus the person who's like, well, tries to rationalize the decision. It's like,
Oh, it's the worst.
I don't care, it didn't work, how do we
No.
fix this?
That's like we've had we had a couple salespeople that were like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the worst. It was like, no, we're not like, it's not what we're doing
Yeah.
because we know it doesn't work.
When you
You can't rationalize, this didn't work, but you can't rationalize it with him because it just didn't work.
Yeah. And I've worked for Joe long enough. There are a couple things that are like red button things for him. And one of those things is people who consistently make excuses.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst trait in an employee imaginable.
Yeah.
Is if you make constant excuses for why things aren't done or why they didn't work out instead of just, 101, own your shit.
Yeah. Just
Doesn't
take it on
matter
the
if it's-
chin.
Take it on the chin. If it's in your life, work, doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. So that's
And you know I reacted much better than that.
he kept it super tame.
Yes.
So we have accountability. Second one is play. That was something like, again, you talked about like the lax nature, right? We want to create an environment, and I think, I hope our employees will say this, where it's like, you can't really tell the difference between work and play for our employees. Like our people enjoy coming to work. They enjoy the work that they do. They enjoy getting to work out with the members, things like that. And so we wanted to create an environment where people actually enjoy coming to work and make that the real deep part of what we do.
Yeah, in the fitness business and the fitness industry in general, most people are in that space. I would say probably over 90%. They're in the space because they love the fitness industry, because they've been involved with it with sports, or they like seeing client results, right? Whatever that component is, it's very, very rare that you see someone that goes into the fitness industry that has no passion for fitness, right? And health and wellness. It's very, very rare.
Right.
Sometimes it happens, but most of the time it does not.
Right.
And so again, you want the employees to enjoy what they're doing. Yeah. Is there parts of the job that suck?
I mean, every job has that.
Of course it is. But overall, the idea of play was I enjoy coming to work. I love seeing the results. I love being able to make a living doing this because I just love my job.
Well, that was something, we've talked about a lot. One is you and I both had jobs before we did this, and you and I both hated them. Joe was in pharmaceutical sales. I was a teacher. And
Gym teacher.
what was the
I thought Chris was a history teacher for like 7 years.
No.
He goes, no, I taught gym. I go, huh. And then actually, I also thought you were a math teacher because I used to think Chris was good at math. Well, not good at math.
I am good at math, but I was a gym teacher. When we were both are like, those jobs sucked. Like they were awful. Like they sucked. I'll speak for myself. It sucked the life out of me. And so I come into this position, and although, yes, there are things that are hard and maybe there's things that I don't want to do, like I love doing it. And so it makes it way more playful and way more fun.
You don't want the job to just be a job.
Yeah.
That was the whole concept was I don't want this to feel like a job. I want you to feel like you love this and you can enjoy yourself. And that's where the definition play came from.
Yep. And then the third one is compete. For those of you that don't know Joe, he's super competitive.
No.
And so we wanted to embody that in the business that like, hey, we're here to compete. Like we're here and not just compete against others, but compete against ourselves, which is like, how do we outdo what we did yesterday? And it happens in the gym, right? When people are going through a strength progression, we want them to not compete against the people next to each other. We want you to try to compete against yourself and PR your lift the next time you get there. So it's super important in our business and with our employees that like we're trying to compete and better ourselves and do better each time, each month, each quarter.
And it's not only just from a competing against each other from like a sales perspective. Yeah, do we do that? Absolutely we do, right?
Yeah.
We like to see KPIs that show this gym sold this much apparel, this gym sold this many supplements, et cetera, right? Because there is a component of that, but the idea it's a motivator. When you're competing not only against yourself or with others and it's together, but it's not like a winner-loser scenario. It's, hey, we're trying to build something here together, but we're also going to compete together. That's how you bring people together.
Yep. Next one is versatile. And so that was something that's super important to us where you have people in the business where, everyone has things that they're really good at, but we wanted people that could at least do other things reasonably well. So like if God forbid someone were to leave or someone were to go on vacation or have a health issue, people can fill in and the business doesn't take a step back.
Of course, and that was the idea was originally, and we just talked about this when we did the whiteboard, right? Like who does what. You want to be in the position from a value to where if a member comes and asks you anything, you have the answer for them.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to drill with all the GMs. It's not, oh, I need to go check. Okay, if you're new and you're starting out, like Felicia just started as assistant manager in Roseland,
Yeah.
I don't expect the girl to know everything.
Right.
Okay. But I do expect her, after being asked 1 or 2 times, that now she's confident enough to know the answer of what needs to be done and not to call you
Right.
for the solution, right? So being able to versatile yourself into all aspects of your job and counterfill to create a well-rounded team.
Yeah. Next one is relentless. I know for a fact this is the one John likes to use the most when referring to Joe. For those of you that don't know John, there's probably a lot of you that don't know John because he's like the Wizard of Oz, man behind the curtain.
He's just a nerd behind a keyboard.
But whenever we have a group event, he always talks about that core value and how Joe in particular and us as a business are relentless in pursuing our goals. And like for us as a business, we want to help and help as many people as humanly possible to be able to hit their health and fitness goals. And internally, we have numbers that we want to hit.
Yeah.
But we kind of talked about it on the last podcast about mindset, and your mindset and our mindset as a business is like we will not be denied. We are relentless towards those goals.
Yeah, and it just goes like we talked about it a little bit earlier today, and on a regular basis with the new location opening up. That is embedded in my head in everything that I've done and accomplished or not accomplished. It's always been the outcome.
Yeah.
I know you know that. And the point of that is we are going to hit the goals, and if we're struggling in some avenue, what do? We correct it.
Yeah.
Because we're literally relentless in the decision-making process of like, we're going to reach this at all costs and we're going to get there.
Right.
And that's how, we talk about mindset. Like that's probably my biggest mindset for myself is this is going to happen. I don't care what the outside throws at you.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen.
Right.
And if you can do that, it's more than likely that you're going to take very big steps forward in that direction.
Yeah.
Even if they're unrealistic. I'm not a big reader, right? But Matthew McConaughey came out with a book called Greenlight.
Okay.
Okay. I think I've sent this to you before.
Yeah.
It's a short book. It's not really anything crazy, but it talks about his life and his upbringing, about how the guy didn't really get famous until much later in his life. Everyone thinks like Dazed and Confused was like,
Yeah.
That line, all right, was like improv, and then they left it in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. So he just said it, and they're like, wow, that flowed and it stayed. And that's literally the staple of his progression, like in the movie business. But he always talks about perseverance and just making gradual steps forward into an unrealistic goal.
Right.
Something that like is so unrealistic until it becomes a reality, right? So like if your goal is I want to make $10 million, right? Why don't you make 100 first, 1,000, and then you can make 500, right? Like manageable progressions. It's like for us in our business, it's implementing things. How many things do we talk about that we want to implement right now?
Oh, all the time.
And it's very difficult because it's all staff and hour based on what you can accomplish in time. But we know what we're going to implement, and we have about 4 or 5 things this year that we've been working on for 2 years that are like this close to being finally implemented properly.
Right.
Okay, so it's baby steps in the expectation of we are going to be relentless in accomplishing what we want to do personally in business, etc.
Yeah. And then the last one we have, guys, is get shit done.
Yeah.
For those of
kind
you,
of slingshots for what we just talked
yeah,
about.
and for those that know me, like this is definitely one that I embody, and my Asana is like a million things long, but it's like kind of what Joe talked about, where it's like, all right, we're going to make a decision, we're going to move forward, and we're going to get it done, and we're going to try to get it done well. And then if it doesn't work out, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make an adjustment and try it again. And we've done that a lot because we've made a ton of mistakes. But at the end of the day, if we embody the purpose of getting things done and pushing forward and not procrastinating and lollygagging on things, then we'll be able to come to the correct solution sooner than if we did delay.
So like the reason why we picked these, and this is one of my favorite ones that I know you embody probably the most out of everything, is it doesn't matter what avenue that you look at this, if you look at it from work or you look at it personally, if you do not become a progressive person you don't get anything accomplished.
Yeah.
And you're in the same spot you are in a year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Nothing changes and everything just becomes monotonous and boring.
Yeah.
Okay. So the biggest point of that is set goals for yourself, whether it's work related, personally related. In our business with staff, it's very competition based, right? And if you can set that up visually for yourself and you can continue to add all these other things, right? You keep yourself accountable. You're competing against yourself. You're playing the play aspect of work and progression and being versatile in everything that you do in the avenue, right? At the end of the day, everything circles back to you are going to accomplish and you're going to get shit done.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you look at it from our business scenario, we get things done quickly in a manner of we can implement it to the members to create more client value and experience.
Yeah. And then so that's our core values, guys. That's what we're about. And then recently, like I said, we had our biannual meeting, and one of the things we launched was we wanted to get crystal clear on our purpose as a business. And I felt it was important and would be a good idea to make sure everyone is aware. And we said, chunked down, that our gyms are meant to be fulfillment centers. And not in the sense of what most people are used to when they hear that, where it's like a warehouse, like an order comes in and you fulfill the order. Not like that. But our complete goal is to be completely client focused. And unlike other programs that can be like widget focused, like we have this heart rate monitor and that's what our program's about. We're stations, that's what our program's about. Our program is trying to be geared totally around the members, totally around them, what they want to accomplish, and then to help them get there, because we know if we do that correctly inside of our gyms, and this is why you and I and everyone else keeps showing up, it allows us to lead more fulfilled lives. And if we can do that effectively and help our members feel more fulfilled in their day-to-day life, then we're doing what we want to do. And that's why we said we're fulfillment centers, in the sense of helping our members feel fulfilled in what they do day to day. And that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do.
We'll kind of end with this is when you think about, we run fitness centers, small group, micro gyms, and they are fulfillment centers. But how you explain that is it's not you being fulfilled from what you accomplish in the gym, it's what it allows you to do outside.
Yeah.
So, and it's as simple as implementing it, like, I have this dress that I want to fit in.
Yeah.
I accomplished these things and now I'm fulfilled because I get to do this now.
Yeah.
Right? That's the component. What does it translate to outside of the four walls, inside any of the locations?
And that's what makes you and I also feel as fulfilled as we do in our work, is because we know when implemented right, people get to feel that.
Yeah, and we just talked about this, right? There's a lot of other shit that I can make way more money doing.
Yeah.
And I don't, and I always go back to the gym business. I said this at a 10-year party, and I say it on a regular basis. I always come back to the fitness industry because it's been the only thing where I feel constantly fulfilled on what you're accomplishing.
Yeah.
For people and yourself. Because if that person feels fulfilled because they did X, Y, and Z and they feel great, it circles back.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys listening. Episode 18 in the books.
Boy.
If you like what we have going on, like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a follow on Instagram. 5-star review on a podcast platform. We'll see you next time.